So one brand that always impresses me with their ability to deliver a high quality instrument for not a lot of money is Schecter. In this video, I'm going to be checking out a brand new guitar from the Schecter line, which is this guitar in my hands today. And this is another guitar that lives up to that exact expectation that I have of what those guys can do. In this video, we're going to be checking out the Schecter Solo-II Standard. So the Solo-II is a really cool guitar from the Schecter line. This is their take on a classic twin humbucker single cut style guitar. But they've added a bunch of really cool refinements to take this design and bring it up to the modern era. This is a new guitar for the Schecter line, being the Solo-II Standard. There's always been a higher end version of this available, but this particular model actually retails in the UK at around the £360 mark. So very, very affordable. But what do you get for that money? Quite a lot of guitar. And that's one thing that Schecter have always demonstrated over the years, is that they're able to pack so much into a guitar that really doesn't cost a lot of money. It's definitely a brand that have impressed me time and time again, and I'm quite happy to say they've done it again with this guitar. So in this video, we're going to be checking this thing out. Before we start digging into the specs of this thing, I just want to let you guys know that this is not a sponsored video today, so I'm not getting paid for the video and I'm not keeping this guitar. This is just on loan with me for a couple of days from my buddies in the UK who look after Schecter, because they wanted me to check this thing out and they said they think I would like it, and they were right. But as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. So, the Solo-II Standard. Now, obviously, straight away you can see where this guitar's DNA originates. It's a single cut style guitar. The colour that I have in my hand today is Ocean Blue Burst Burl. Now, one thing that's really interesting is the fact that they've managed to get a burl top on a guitar that's under £400. Now, typically when we see tops like this, we are starting to think of, you know, £800, £1,000 guitars. Schecter have done it for half of that price, which again is just one of those things that Schecter seem to keep doing time and time again. Now, with this being a single cut style guitar, you will probably not be surprised to find out that it's a mahogany body. I think it's solid. It doesn't sound like there's much chambering going on. But as such, even though it's not chambered, it's not super heavy. I've played much heavier single cuts than this in the past. This is a solid mahogany body. It is a flat top, so it's not carved, but we do have some nice bevels here along the top edge. So when you're playing stood up especially, you get this nice kind of forearm contour, which is pretty comfortable for playing stood up. The shape of the single cut body is slightly different to the traditional. This is a little bit pointier, and we do also have a little cutaway here for your hand as you're going up to the higher end of the fretboard. And as you can see, we've got this nice curved neck heel, which also has a little bit of beveling as well. So again, it kind of takes some of the mass out of the neck heel. So when you're playing right up the neck, you can easily get your hand up there. On top of the body, we've got a pair of Schecter Diamond Standard humbuckers. All the hardware, as you can see, is black on this guitar as well. We've got 2 volume controls and a tone control. This is the volume for the bridge pickup. This is the volume for the neck pickup. And then we've got a master tone, Tune-Matic style bridge, 3-way switch. There's no coil splits or anything on this guitar. It's pretty straightforward, straight to the point. We have a bolt-on neck, which is somewhat unusual for a single cut style guitar, but you know, in the aim of keeping the price down, that will help. It is slightly cheaper to manufacture bolt-ons, and if Schecter were to offer a through neck at this price, I think we'd probably see the guitar costing maybe £100 more. Even though it's a bolt-on though, don't let that put you off because it's still rock solid. We've got a roasted maple neck. This is where that differs slightly from a typical single cut because you don't often get roasted maple on those kind of guitars. You typically have the neck finished in the same color as the body. On top of that, we have a rosewood fretboard. The fretboard has 22 jumbo frets on there, and it is a 14-inch radius. We've got a 24 3/4 inch scale length as well. So again, if you're playing single cuts, you know exactly what this is going to feel like out of the box scale-wise. Up at the top, we've got a matched headstock, so that's also got the nice burl finish on there as well, and a set of Schecter tuners. They've got the Grover style buttons, but they're not actually Grovers, they're Schecter branded tuners. We've also got a nice little neck volute here as well, just to help the stability of the headstock. Single cut guitars typically are notorious for headstock breaks, so if you drop this thing, that volute will definitely keep this nice and strong. But yeah, spec-wise, that's pretty much it. Schecter have not put anything on this guitar that it doesn't need. It's pretty simple. You know, you've got 2 humbuckers, a 3-way switch. There's no fancy electronics here. Nothing to detract from the actual playing of the instrument. Probably the fanciest feature is that you've got an independent volume for both pickups. The only way that Schecter could have even simplified this anymore would just be to put a single volume control. But yeah, I'm going to plug this thing in now. I'm going to hear some sounds. So gear-wise, I've got the Schecter Solo-II Standard going into the Blackstar HT20 Mark III for my cleaner tones, and that's running via the 2-Notes Torpedo Captor X. I'm going to be using the PV6505 for some higher gain tones later on in the video, but I'm going to start with the Blackstar and I'm going to play through some cleaner sounds on all 3 pickup positions. So those pickups have actually got quite a lot of sparkle in all 3 positions, which is quite nice because I usually find humbuckers, especially the neck humbucker, for me can be a bit too muddy sometimes on clean tones, but I actually really like the sound of these humbuckers. The bridge is a little pokier and it gets you a little bit closer to the edge of breakup. So if you're playing on the bridge pickup and you're digging in, you can just push the amp a little bit, but if you pull your own playing back and play a bit softer, you can clean it up a little bit that way. But that neck pickup actually maintains quite a clean sound. really nice sounding neck pickup actually. That's probably one of my favourite neck humbuckers I've actually heard in a long time, which is a great testament for this guitar considering what this thing costs. So now I've got the guitar plugged into the PV6505. I'm going to hear this with some overdrive. So those humbuckers have a ton of really cool sounds in them. Even though it's such a simple guitar, it can do so many different things. Even with a higher gain sound, that bridge humbucker's got plenty of attack for high gain riffs. But then when you go to the neck pickup, you get this really rich sounding tone, which is great for single notes. So yeah, I'm very impressed by this. I think this sounds absolutely great, and playability wise, it's really easy to play. I mean, it doesn't feel like a guitar that sits under the £400 price mark. It feels actually a lot like other Schecters that I've played and another Schecter that I own, which actually sit in the price range closer to 800. I'm very impressed by the neck on this, and I'm yet to actually play a Schecter with a bad fret job. The fret ends on this are super smooth. The fret edges have like a, it's not a rolled fret edge, but it feels like a, maybe there's a slight roll to it. The bottom edge kind of feels a little bit more rolled than the top as well, which is quite interesting because you don't get that harsh kind of new neck feeling on the bottom of the hand, which is very nice actually. It kind of feels slightly played in as well. So out of the box, I am very, very impressed. These are an incredible steal for the money, and I think if you're in the market for a cool single cut that's a little bit different to all the traditional offerings out there, you should definitely go check one of these out. Thanks to the guys at Schecter for sending this over for me to check out. I'm really, really impressed. I know I've said that a few times, but yeah, I am genuinely impressed by the way this thing plays considering what it costs. Schecter, as I said, are a brand that just keep finding ways to put so much value into a guitar that doesn't cost much money. So yeah, if you're in the market for single cut that is a bit different to the traditional stuff, this should definitely be on your radar. Let me know what you guys think of this thing down below in the comments. And while you're doing that, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, as always.